Recording in progress.
Okay, awesome. A lot of times when we have a little bit more opportunity to be entertained as we're learning, we retain more, right? So when the instructor is, how do I put it? They are a little bit monotone. And especially when you're going over something like the contract, a big change in contract, it can be a lot. So the Downey Association of Realtors will be live streaming the contract again in November and in December. So everybody's more than welcome to log on to those sessions. We're gonna let people log on to those. What we'll be doing is we are gonna split the brand new contract into 4 different sessions, so 4 parts, and we're gonna go over it with Ed instead. And that way, you know, Ed has a little bit more engagement, answering questions, kind of letting you guys know what's going on. But we thought that might be a little bit, just a little bit more fun, right? A little bit more interesting to kind of go through that exercise. Okay, I see angle the camera a little more to the right. Get a little closer. Is this better? I'll look for the thumbs up. If you, I don't know if this is my right or your, yeah, perfect. Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you. I was like, which way is the right when we're sitting on the screen? I appreciate that, my friend. Oh no, so I brought in this whiteboard today because Jose did such a great job writing on the back, and I didn't want to erase everything that he's written up there. Okay, so a couple things that I want to go over with us today. You guys know that when I train, I do something a little different, right? I'm not a technology class. Yesterday we had technology with Diana. And Diana's really that tech guru. Plus we have everything that's in KW Command for commanding your business on how we utilize technology. So this is not a technology class, right? This is not a scripts and role play class. So you guys know that I do talk about scripts and I talk about what's happening in the market. But we're not gonna go over the scripts. We do that during the week, right? This is not the market update class. We do that on Mondays every week. What this really is we talk about systems and models. The way the business works is we know that in our traditional real estate business and the way that we operate, and this is across any industry, I'm not just talking about real estate, right? What we know is that in order to succeed in business, there's 3 parts. There is a system and a model that we follow that generates success. There is the piece of technology or technology that is going to allow us to implement that system and model. And then there's the person. The person is either going to be the person that's going to teach it, the person that's going to do it, or if you're leveraging it, the person on your team that's going to do it. Fair? All right. So the problem is a lot of times we go and we're like, oh, I need a person to do this, or I need a person to do that. Or we say, hey, I really need a piece of technology in order to implement this. And then we have a piece of technology, and unfortunately, we don't know how to use it, right? We don't know what to do with it. The technology is only as good as the system and model that we're utilizing behind it. If we don't understand the system and model, then somebody will say something like this. In real estate business, you have to have a database. And everybody's like, okay, which database is the best, right? What database do I go get? And they go look and they go search and they try out all kinds of different databases. And I say this because I did it, right? I tried out a ton and I was like, I gotta find the right thing for me that's gonna solve all my problems. There is no magic button in this business, right? It's all of a sudden somebody will say, well, I need more leads, so let me go throw money at that. And let me go throw money at Zillow or throw money at Google or throw money at Facebook, right? And then we wonder, I'm getting these leads. Why isn't this successful? It's because there's not a system and model behind that, right? When we talk about real estate, there are 3 parts to the real estate transaction. There is lead generation, there is follow-up, and then there's contract to close. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. When you go into a store, there are 3 parts to the transaction. Let's talk about Amazon, right? There's lead generation. Amazon does advertising. They do SEO keyword search. They show up everywhere. They have marketing. That's lead generation, right? When you go in and you look at something and you click onto something, what do? They send you emails. Hey, you left this in your cart. Do you want a 5% discount? Right? Hey, were you looking at this? We have some other recommendations for you. That's follow-up. And then when you actually make the purchase, they ship it out and they send it to you, contract to close. Okay. So any industry, I don't care what industry it is, there's 3 parts. The challenge is that most businesses don't fail in the contract to close part, right? They know what to do. You buy the product, they ship it to you, except right now with what's going on in the ports and everything's delayed, right? But the major challenges that most people have in business is in lead generation or in follow-up. Fair? All right. So that's why, let me make sure I didn't miss anything in the chat because I see some, okay, perfect. We're good there. Awesome. So that's where I really like to start with when we talk about, our real estate business, when we talk about the opportunity that we have. The way that I also see this business is we make it very, very complicated. Real estate is simple. It is not easy. There is only one secret in this business. Who knows what that secret is? It's a long one. It used to be short. It's longer now. Y'all hear me say this all the time. Nobody? Going once, thoughts? So we're getting into the holiday season, right? Somebody goes to Thanksgiving dinner and I don't know, maybe it's an old friend from school, an old coworker. They're sitting at dinner with their friends and family, and their sister-in-law sitting across from them says, you know what? We've been thinking about buying a house this year. The only secret in this business is you have to have somebody in that room that says, oh my gosh, let me connect you with my agent. That is the secret of this business. The secret of this business is having mind share, right? Mind share equals market share. Being the first person somebody thinks of when they think of real estate, right? Being the first person somebody thinks of when they think of real estate. That used to be the only requirement, right? Is being the first person, because there was less real estate agents. Now we have the same number of transactions. We are at the height of our transaction count right now, but for the most part, we have a certain number of transactions in general that occur almost every year. It goes up, it goes down, but it stays pretty consistent across the board. We have more agents. There are more real estate agents in the industry than there have ever been before. I'm gonna say that again. There are more real estate agents in the industry than there have ever been before, like in the history of real estate, right? A third of the real estate agents in the nation are in California, in Florida, and it's either Texas or Arizona. I think it's Texas, right? In 3 states in the United States. So there's a lot of real estate agents, right? So the only secret is we have to be the first person they think of. We also have to be the most credible person that they think of. And we have to be easy to reach. They could love us, think we're really credible, and if they can't find our phone number, we've got a problem. Right. If they can't contact us, we've got a problem. If we're not answering our phone, we've got a problem, right? So 3 things within that formula. There are 3 arms of any business plan, or what I like to call GPS. So in a week, on the 20th and 21st, we're going to be going through the Gene Rivers Business Planning Clinic. We are going to go very, very in-depth into business plan, into economic model, into all of those different things, right? It's going to be a very in-depth class. What I'm going to do is I want to give you guys a basis to simplify, right? Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. The way that I look at it, there are only 3 arms of our business strategy. One is database. Everything that we do is to make sure that we have a database that is intact, ready to go, that it's consistent. Then we have to have a lead generation lever, what I call lead generation lever. So one of the many different types of lead generation, we pick 1 to master, not 5. We don't do like go randomly door knocking and then the next week we're doing expires, right? Time on task over time. Everything has the ability to be successful when we do it consistently and we master it. So 1, we have a database, a functioning database. 2, we have a lead generation lever that is meant to feed that database. And 3, we leverage the business that we do have to solidify ourselves in the minds of our clients and in the areas around. Okay, I'm gonna build that out for us. So I want you guys to assume, some of you guys have seen me, I've talked about this before. Here's the thing, you may hear me talk about things that I've already talked about. That's okay. Because repetition allows us to solidify something that maybe we've heard me talk about and has not been implemented yet, right? It gives us a guidepost to kind of work through that. So today what I'm gonna go through is I'm gonna go through the 2 side lead gen levers. And then if we have time, we will pick one type of lead generation together based on, you know, what the consensus is here that we'll go over. Fair? Yeah. Awesome. Number 1. So, and I want you guys to pretend this is your GPS, except we're not going over the one goal. We're going over the 3 priorities and the strategies for that. Number 1 is going to be database. Yeah, absolutely. Can you just grab one from my office, Joe?
Thank you.
They're in the, it's in the little cup on the, you know where my cup is, right? Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so first one is gonna be database. Now, I'm obviously gonna use command as the database here, but this isn't about the system, right? This isn't about the piece of technology. I'm gonna know. Gary Keller, when he started in this industry, we didn't have something called command. He used little 4x6 index cards that were in a recipe box. That was the technology that he used at that time, right? The system, yeah, no. He actually had, it wasn't a Rolodex, it was an actual recipe box, yes. It was an actual recipe box, they didn't even have Rolodexes yet. That was the system, right? What he did is he had these little files on it that said, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, right? He had all of those in his 4x6. He would have a client and their information would be on one 4x6. And if he called them today in October and they said, you know what, I want to buy at the beginning of the year, he then moved that card into December so that he knew to follow up with them in December, okay? That was his technology to manage the system of a 36 touch, to manage the system of a follow-up campaign. Our tech is different, right? Our tech does a lot of that for us. It gives us a little handy alert on our computer or on our phone. It says, hey, call this person, when we set it up correctly. Okay. I need my coffee. Okay, so database is gonna be the first thing. The number 1 thing in terms of your database. This is not the first thing, and what we're gonna talk about here is to fill up your database with every single person that you know, okay? Everybody that you know, family, friends, old coworkers, if you have kids, the parents of the kids, of your kids' school friends, right, and classmates. If you played sports, friends from sports, your barber, your person that does your nails, I don't care, everybody that you know, okay? The goal is to first establish a relationship, okay? Establish relationship. For many of us, this is reestablishing a relationship. So establish or reestablish relationship. We use a script model that is called FORD. F-O-R-D. You guys have seen the little Ford that's in my office, right? The little Ford Bronco. That's my reminder for Ford. Ford is family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. I don't care what the scenario is. It's pretty simple to have a conversation around family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. When we know somebody, it's, hey, Jovita, I just wanted to give you a call. I know it's been a long time since we've talked and you were on my mind. How's your family been, right? How's work going? Family, occupation, how's work going? Are you working from home or are you working full-time still? What are you doing for fun right now during this pandemic and all the craziness? Or what was yesterday? Did you watch the Dodger game?
Yeah.
Right, that's a recreation question. Dreams. What's your, what do you want to do after the pandemic's over? Or hey, you have any cool plans for next year? Or what's your next like dream destination? Doesn't matter what the question is, so we ask the question. This is a rapport building tool, right? A rapport building tool. I did not start the conversation and say, hey, Jovita, do you want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate?
Right, no.
Right? Because what happens? We don't make that call. Not if it's the first time we talk to somebody in a long time, right? So the first thing is we got to reestablish the relationship. A lot of you have heard of the gratitude script. Right now we're in holiday season. Gratitude script is really simple. It's, hey, Asael, I wanted to give you a call. You know, I've been thinking about you, you're on my mind, and I just wanted to thank you for, you know, giving me the opportunity to work with you this past year, or for coming on board with us, or whatever it is, right? Or, you know, you did me a solid years ago, and I know we don't talk as often as I'd like, but I'm just really grateful that you're in my life. It's gratitude, right? Be personal, be authentic, be genuine. And then they're like, oh my God, thank you so much.
Yeah, I just read that. In fact, I just downloaded, since I took gold, I think it was in June that we took gold, I went ahead and I printed our scripts. And there is one in particular, since the businesses are reopening, where you can actually go and prospect to the local business and offer them if they want to be part of a 2-minute video on your page, so that way.
Yes, so that is not this part. Right now, we're talking about our people that we already know.
In our network.
Yes, so this is gonna be people that we already know. That is what I would call business to business marketing.
Yeah.
That is a lead generation lever. That is gonna be one that we talk about next, right? That's business to business marketing.
Okay.
That's great though to bring that up, because that is also an option, right? For a type of lead generation. Okay, so the first thing, we established a relationship. Next, we get contact information, okay? Contact information, or update contact information. If you have their contact information already, if you already have a database, this is we update contact information. I'm gonna say the key pieces: name, phone, email, address, and then extra, if we can get it, birthday, additional info. Okay. The information you absolutely need: name, phone number, email, and address. If you can get it, the birthday, even if that means you're stalking them on Facebook to go find their birthday, or using their Facebook link. Additional information. Additional information is great. I like to have additional information, like, are they a mom? Are they a dad? Right? That gives me an excuse to message them on Mother's Day or Father's Day and build a relationship and be authentic. Veteran status might be something. Do they have kids? Are they married? Are they single? Do they live in a different state? Right? All of these different things are additional information, but the information we get: name, phone, email, and address. Okay, so let's go back to that gratitude script, right? Or the forward script, or whatever it was. By the way, you know, with the holidays around the corner, I wanted to make sure that the address I have on file for you is correct. I would love to send you a card this holiday season. Now, I already have their name, their phone number. This is gonna get me their address, right? This is gonna get me, now you guys actually have to send the card, okay?
Right.
You have to send the card, but this is gonna get me their address, right? It's simple. I think everybody can make that call. Fair? That's an easy call, yes? I'm not telling you guys to do anything crazy. I'm not even telling you guys to ask for business yet. Okay, now, some of you are gonna go make that call, and that's great. We got updated information. Some of you aren't gonna feel comfortable to do the next step, right? Some of you won't. That's okay. I would rather you make the call than not make the call because you're scared to move on to the next step. Fair? Okay. The next question is gonna say, and you know what, just out of curiosity, what are your real estate plans for 2022? They're gonna say whatever they're gonna say. Great, now I know if they're a potential buyer or seller. Now I've mentioned real estate in conversation, right? And I can move the ball forward, which is gonna be with my follow-up question that says, by the way, I actually send out updates about what's going on in the market, or, you know, a lot of my clients are reaching out to me to ask me about what's going on in the market. I send out updates regularly. Would it be okay if I sent you those updates? That's how we get their email address. Okay, that's how we get their email address. Now, if you're like, nope, there's no way I'm gonna ask those questions, there's no way I'm making that call, right? Start with the first part of the script. When they ask you what you've been up to, this is the other option, okay? I recommend the first option, but this is I'm not gonna do that, and so I want the second option. The second option is to say, hey, you get their address, right? Nice thing about this is in the holiday card, you're gonna put your business card. That's where you're still gonna let them know you're real estate, right? Because your business card is in there, but you are not necessarily doing it in that call. And the call is gonna go, same thing. I wanna get your address so that I can send you a holiday card this season. And then they're gonna say something like, oh my God, thank you so much. So what have you been up to? Yeah, absolutely. Well, my goal this year is to help X amount of families to, just invest in real estate, but that's not the reason for my call. I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing. Okay, so I'm giving you guys the out there, but that also means you probably won't get their email address in this particular call. It means you'll get that email address at a later call. Fair? Okay, so we want to reestablish relationship, get or update contact information. And that question is also give us permission to market. Send market updates, etc. Okay, so this is all in one call. Call everyone and put in database. Okay, so now we put them into our database, we put them into command. The next thing is now we have to put them on a 36 touch campaign. For some of us, we're gonna do it the first time we talk to them. For some of the people, we're gonna be able to do part of it the first time we talk to them, right? If we don't have all the contact information, we can't do every single piece. Fair? If we have the contact information, we can do every single piece of this next part. So 36 touch campaign. We're gonna put them on the quarterly call. So that command reminds us to call them once every 90 days. We're gonna put them on the bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. So the command sends them an email with market updates about their neighborhood every 2 weeks. We're gonna do 2 client events. This doesn't mean you gotta go do your own client events. It means on October 29th, we have the Halloween trunk or treat. It means go invite all your clients to that and use it like if it's your event, right? We have Red Day when we do community service. Invite your clients to participate in that, right? So that they can feel like they're contributing. I had a ton of clients that donated items for us and we're super excited to participate because people like to feel included. They like to come from contribution. So it doesn't have to be like you're planning your own event. It means plug into the events we already have. Okay? And then 4 items of value. This, I'm gonna come back to this 4 items of value when we talk about leveraging transactions. Okay? And then this is essentially what we do with database. And then we feed it daily. So not only am I setting it up the first time and doing it, right? But then I'm going in and I'm consistently going back to my database, calling them and checking in. The biggest mistake that happens in real estate is we look at the people that are in our phone or in our database and we make a choice. And we say, I think these 10 people want to buy or sell. These are the 10 people I'm calling today. And we forget about everybody else. And when we don't call everybody else, you guys know what happens? We lose referral opportunities because we forget about everybody else that's interested in potentially doing real estate. We have something called call bias. We make the phone calls that we think are easy and we forget about all the people that have potential to help us and that we have potential to help. Lead generation is an opportunity to find people to help. If you don't make those phone calls, there may be somebody that ends up working with somebody that is not the right fit for them. Or maybe they don't end up getting a house that they knew was a possibility, right? I know agents that have made deals happen by they offer options to the client. It might be a client that somebody else was like, they're not gonna be able to buy. And that agent went above and beyond to make sure that they found people to potentially qualify with and created an opportunity for them to buy. And it might not be the highest priced property, right? But we created homeownership where somebody else didn't want to quote unquote what they believed was wasting their time.
Right.
What we believe is creating homeownership opportunities, right? What we believe is changing lives. And so all of a sudden, because you did not make that call, that person may never have that opportunity.
Right.
Right? This is why the calls are important, right? Making sure we're establishing is important. Don't get me wrong, I love this business. We can make a lot of money in this business. We're absolutely capable of filling our souls in our pockets at the same time. Fair? Cool. Okay. So now, any questions before I move on to section number 2? Okay, we're gonna skip the middle. We're gonna put the middle at the end, but I always usually have the middle here. This next part is we're gonna do, this is gonna be 2 parts. It's gonna be leveraging listings and leveraging closings. Here. Leverage listings is gonna go first, and then we'll go leverage closings. Okay. When I got into, and I'm gonna share the caveat on this. When I got into the business, it was a market where prices have been going up for the last 10 years, right? Prices have been going up for the last 10 years. We've seen it fairly consistently.
Absolutely.
If somebody accidentally overpriced a property, it's still sold. We're starting to see that shift now, right? We're starting to see price corrections and stuff. But if somebody overpriced a property, the market cut up, the property still sold. There's been a good amount of demand. The last year and a half, we've seen that even more so, right? What that also means is that people got very complacent in terms of you could literally take a listing, put a sign in the yard, post it on the MLS and pray, and it would sell. That is not the market we're going into.
No.
Right? We have to put a sign in the yard, post it on the MLS, prospect for buyers, right? Price watch, and you can also pray.
Right.
You can also still pray. With that being said, that also means that people got very lazy. And what I mean by that is, and I left out an E, damn. Nobody even got that, my spelling error up here, sorry guys. You could take a listing and you just know that people are gonna be at your open house. When we do that and we just assume that people are going to our open house, we miss a lot of opportunity. In my opinion, when you take a listing, this should help you generate more business. Right? This should help us generate more business. So you take a listing today, does that mean that listing is going live tomorrow? We want to be strategic about how we take our listings. This is a strategy. Okay, we're not just posting it. That's going from transaction to transaction. We are business owners, not just real estate professionals. Fair? Cool. So we take a listing and we say, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna sign the listing agreement today. And part of my strategy with the client is saying, look, I know with my marketing plan and the way that we operate our business, we're not just gonna post, your house in the MLS and hope that people come. And I'll be honest with you, people will show up right now because there's high demand, right? But I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't go above and beyond to make sure that we had as many people as possible at that open house, that we had as many eyeballs as possible. Because here's the thing, if you get one offer on your property, the buyer is in control because you're only negotiating with one person. If we get 3 buyers on your property, if we get 5 buyers on your property, if we get 15 buyers on your property, who's in control? The seller. Absolutely. The seller is in control. So my goal is to get you as many eyeballs on your property as possible so that we can get you as many people into the property as possible so that we can get you as many offers as possible. I'm never going to guarantee you, something, but I know that this has worked. And so we're not going to do the open house this weekend because that's not going to give us adequate time to get those eyeballs on your property. The soonest open house I have available for you is going to be in 2 weeks. How's that sound? We're going to list your property today. We're going to get photos done. We're going to market to all of your neighbors. right? We're gonna prospect for buyers on your property. We're gonna make sure that we get you as many offers as possible so that we can make sure that you're in control of the negotiation. Okay, that's how I'm presenting it, but I'm gonna say this, what this is gonna do, this is gonna do that for your client, it's win-win or no deal. This strategy is gonna do that for your client, but it's also, here's the thing, more eyeballs on the property also mean more eyeballs on how you do business, more potential leads for you, because not all of them are gonna buy that property. We wanna sell that property, but we also wanna sell another. Fair? Okay, so my open house is 2 weeks out, which means that I can go do photos and all that good stuff that I need to do, write my nice little marketing, etc. 2 weeks before. I am going to send a postcard through command to at least the closest 250 homes. Here's the really cool thing. You go into command, you create the postcard. Don't try to get fancy. I don't care about the fancy ones, right? You want to make the fancy ones, do those later. Use the template that's already in there. Put the picture of the property, just listed, price. Here's the caveat on the description. You have a short opportunity on the description. I know that with the neighbors in the area, it is possible that one of them might be interested in the property. I don't need to provide a million details about the property for them to be interested in the property. They're gonna see the picture, they're gonna see that it just listed, they're gonna potentially be interested in the property. They're gonna know that there's an open house coming up, right? What I want is to get their interest in maybe selling their property.
Right.
Maybe they do wanna buy that. Those ones come up no matter what. We know when we market a listing, buyers come, right? Okay, but I want sellers to come. So if all I have is a little paragraph description, I know it says just listed, it says the price, says the details on the front. On the back of my little paragraph, it's gonna say something like this. Let's say the property is in Los Angeles County, right? In the last 12 months, the average sold price in LA County has gone up 10%. Do you know the value of your home? Question mark. Would you like to? Question mark. Come to our open house on Friday the 29th for more information, right? I want to trigger the thought of somebody that's like, prices have gone up 10%. I've gotten 10% equity in the last year. What? I go over that every Monday, right? What the average sold price in each of the 4 counties that we cover go up over the last 12 months. So you have that data every single Monday. You don't need to look at the city data, use the county data. Right? It doesn't have to be super specific. It has to trigger curiosity. Fair? Okay, at least 250 homes. Then you're gonna go to our lovely friends at the other side, my marketing 1, 2, 3, right? And you are gonna ask for the list of the at least closest 250 homes. Phone numbers. And walking farm. Okay, phone numbers and walking farm. How many of you guys do circle prospecting around your listings, your closings, etc.? Right, I know a lot of us do it, right? Traditionally, a lot of you will be like, oh, I just sold this property over at 123 Main Street, or hey, I have this listing over at 123 Main Street, wanted to invite you to the open house, or who do you know that wants to buy, sell, or invest, right? We're so used to the same old scripts. No. Right? The way the script goes is this. Hey, I just wanted to give you a call, or hey, I was actually just stopping by. I don't know if you know this, but we listed your neighbor's house, the Johnsons, over at 123 Main Street. They wanted me to personally invite you for our open house that we're gonna be doing on Saturday, the 29th, the 30th, Saturday, the 30th. We're actually gonna do a neighbors only preview for an hour before the open house. So it's gonna be at 10. You're more than welcome to come during the open house, but I wanted to give you that option because that's just gonna be the neighbors. Right? And they're like, oh my God, thank you so much. Say, and by the way, I don't know if you know this, but home prices in the area have gone up by 10% in the last year, right? The average sold price. Do you know the value of your home? Just out of curiosity, do you know the value of your home? Most of them are gonna say, oh, no. Would you like to? Right? Most of them are like, yes. Great. Is there anything you want to tell me about your home? Right? This is where now we go into those questions. Is there anything you want to tell me about their home? Do you have any upgrades on your home? Get information, pull them into that conversation, whether it's on the phone or it's in person during door knocking. Do both if you have the ability, right? To do both, okay? Because now we have 2 weeks before the open house, right? This is the opportunity that we have. If you're just doing an open house and you don't actually have the listing, do the same thing if you can, okay? You might not be able to do the postcard, but you can door knock it and call. Fair? Okay, same thing. Pull them into that conversation. Now get their contact information, because now you have a potential homeowner lead. They may or may not be interested in selling yet. I want to get their contact information. I want to find out the details about that house. I want to find out if they were to move, where would they go? Right? All the traditional questions that we asked in script. The first thing though is we got to get their curiosity. Now all of a sudden they've got a postcard from me. They got a phone call from me. Right? I'm door knocking it. They're having conversations with me. Chances are I'm hitting a good number of people now.
Yeah.
More than I would be doing if I only did one of these. Right? Okay. That's the conversation. Then we're going to do a Facebook ad through command. Except we're going to do 2. Most of you guys do 1.
Yeah.
We're going to do 2. Buyers, sellers. I want 2. One is I'm going to use that listing to target the buyers. Just listen, open house. You want more information about this property, the traditional stuff that we're used to doing, right? In command, again, this is not a tech class, but when you set up that campaign, you can auto tag that person as a potential buyer lead, right? So that when they go into command, they're already tagged like a buyer. You can set that up as you're setting up the campaign. You're gonna do a second ad. Remember what we put on the postcard? Just listed at 425. Home values or the average sold price in this area has gone up 10% in the last year. Do you know the value of your home? Would you like to? Click learn more to be contacted for the home value of your home. An ad towards buyers and ad towards sellers. I'm going to tell you right now, you are going to get more leads on the buyers for the same price because sellers are a higher cost per lead. But I would rather have the opportunity to get both, right? What we focus on expands. We spend a lot of time doing things that are going to attract buyers to us. We have to switch our activities to do things that attract listings. The buyers come no matter what. When you have a listing, buyers will come, right? Everything that we do, when we're marketing, is to attract sellers, okay? So 2 weeks before, so if you're okay with doing social media, do videos, do posts, right? Use this opportunity to go through and like, new listing coming up, home values in this area have gone up 10%. Everywhere, we use that everywhere. This is why I do the market update. It's not for fun. It's so that you guys know, here's the data that I should be using in conversation that's going to trigger curiosity. Okay. Then we actually do the open house. Okay. I do a whole class that I've done just on open houses. So I'm not going to teach you guys how to do an open house today. That's not what we're talking about today. That's a whole nother class. That one takes an hour to an hour and a half by itself. The only thing I'm going to say is stop having the first question that you ask when they walk into the open house is, hey, did you come with an agent?
Exactly.
Or, hey, go ahead, take a look at the home or whatever, right? Get them to sign in, and then say this. You know, in my experience, when people come to an open house, they're coming for one of 2 reasons. They're either looking to buy or they want to know the value of their home. Which are you? I want to know who the sellers are. I'm going to service the buyers, but we know how to service the buyers, right? The sellers is a little bit, we want to find them. We have to make sure we're asking that question. If we do have a buyer, just out of curiosity, you know, in order to buy your home, do you have a home that you need to sell? Again, I'm looking for my sellers, right? Okay. That's open house. That's this middle part, open house, follow up, etc. Okay, now leverage closings. The listing closes, or You have a buyer and they close. I said there was 2 parts for this one. We're leveraging our closings. And then we're gonna come back to both of these at the end because we're gonna go back to a database aspect. Again, what do? We send a postcard. Send postcard. Closest 250. Call. Closest 250. Door knock. Facebook ad.
You know, you just opened my mind on something, sending the flyers via our command console from the listings that we have in office.
For that, you have to get permission, yes.
So,
For that, you get permission, but yes, absolutely.
can we just use them, the ones that we have here in the
You have
office,
to
or-
get permission from the agent. Everything requires permission from the agent.
Okay.
Mhm.
Got it.
In order to do that, because if their seller is not okay with it, then, you know, we just have to get permission.
Okay. sorry.
But yeah, okay, so we leverage a closing, we get a closing. Now this is whether it's a listing or a buyer, I don't care. I'm gonna send that postcard to the closest 250 homes. Just sold. 13 offers. Sold 20K above asking.
Right.
If it's a buyer, maybe change up your language a little bit, right? Just so you don't get your buyer mad, right? You don't get your buyer mad, but it's sold. Just sold, you know, 1 out above 13 other buyers, or maybe I'm still putting 13 other buyers on the property. Home values in this area continue to rise. Do you know the value of your home? Would you like to? Gonna call. When you're calling the neighbors, you can tell them the same thing, right? We're using the same script, except now it's just sold this property over on 123 Main Street. You did sell, right? You sold it to your buyer. So you can utilize that in conversation. You sold it. You may not have been the listing agent. You can still call. You're gonna call. You're gonna door knock. Same thing. Your Facebook ads. You're gonna do the same thing. One to buyers, one to sellers. The language changes. We don't do one thing for everybody. It's a different conversation, right? What is gonna attract a buyer is different from what attracts a seller. Okay? Is this clear?
Yes.
Great. I'm gonna say the one thing that I didn't say here, because what I promised you is that we would come back to this 4 items of value minimum a year. An item of value is considered, it could be a postcard, it could be a little newsletter, it could be a birthday card, it could be a Christmas card, right? Or a holiday card. It could be any of those different things. It could be Father's Day, Mother's Day, I don't care. And those are great, and I recommend that you do those. And in Command, you have the ability to send those postcards not just to a geographic area, but if you have the mailing addresses, which I mentioned up here, if you have the mailing addresses for your database, every single person that you know, you can also send those postcards through Command. You run a second ad, right? You run a second postcard. You're gonna duplicate the campaign after you do the targeted. And you are gonna send every single postcard to your database. Every single one. Just listed, just sold. Just listed, just sold. Just listed, just sold, okay? So we're gonna put that here. It's gonna go like this. Send postcard. Send postcard. Okay, here's the thing. With our database, we need to be omnipresent. I said we need to be the first person they think of when they think of real estate. We have to be credible. Proof of production postcards, just sold, just listed, are the most powerful postcards you can do. If you're only gonna spend money on a little bit of stuff, those are the ones, right? Just listed, just sold. You can also do things like testimonials and stuff like that when you get it, right? Those are items of value, is those postcards. But we're also gonna be omnipresent. So you remember these Facebook ads?
Yes. Since we're on postcards, I just want to share with everyone.
Well, let me finish the Facebook ad, right?
Okay.
When you have their emails in Command, you can also run targeted ads on Facebook to those people. This is how when you go on Amazon and you click on a set of headphones, all of a sudden you're seeing Amazon ads for headphones everywhere. Yeah, that's what they're doing. You can do that for real estate in Command. If you have the information, right? If you have the information.
So question on the,
Yes.
on the command and postcards.
Yep.
Because some sites do the mailing of the postcards directly to touch base.
Mhm.
Does command have that feature? where
Yes.
It'll automatically send it?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, it's not gonna do this where you auto send it. You have to create the campaign.
Uh-huh.
And it takes like 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes.
Do you know if we pay on the service, like, for example, we pay, like, if we want to add extra emails through command?
Yep,
or-
you do it directly when you're doing the ad.
Okay.
Yeah, if we have some time, I might show you the page. I'm not gonna go into it on how to do it in depth. There's full videos for that. We do different classes for that.
Okay.
Like, it's not a tech class, right?
Yeah,
But have you done a Facebook ad in Command?
yes.
Yes, okay. The only difference is that instead of clicking Facebook ad, when you go to campaigns, you're gonna click direct mail, walk through the process. It takes less than 5 minutes. Once you get the hang of it, trust me, it takes, like, I can do it in less than 5 minutes now,
Okay.
right? But I do it real quick. I'm like, plug and play, right? The same way when you promote a listing and the Facebook ad pulls in all the stuff and you're just editing, the ad does the same thing for the mailing, right? You can choose to opt to do like more complicated designs. They're in designs, in Command as well. Don't start there. Start with the simple, just listed, just sold. Don't worry about everything else. Yeah, okay. If you want, you can also do a postcard here in the middle, which is open escrow. That's an extra, it's up to you guys, right? But hell, why not? Just listed, open escrow, just sold. Just listed, open escrow, just sold. Not just to the closest 250 neighbors, but to every single person in your database. Because what happens, they do this, they're like, oh my God. Hey, look, Mario just sold the property. Okay, let me go put this in the drawer. I don't even care if they throw it away, you guys. I honestly don't, because they're seeing it consistently. This is what we call the law of emotional proximity. Says this. When I walk into a store and somebody says, hey, can I help you? What do we say?
No, thank you. I'm okay, I'm just looking.
Yes, that is a script. It is a script that like everybody knows that script, right? We walk into the store, we're like, hey, how can I help you? And they're like, oh, I'm just looking. That is a script. The law of emotional proximity says this. When I go and now I have 5 items that I picked up while I was at the store and I want to try them on, the fitting rooms are locked. Now I'm like, shoot, I need somebody to help me. Can you come unlock the fitting room? I'm not going to the first person that offered to help me. I'm going to whoever's close by in my moment of need, right? The law of emotional proximity. I have a need, my emotion is driving me, I need to make a decision. I would like to go into the fitting rooms. I have a desire to go into the fitting rooms. Proximity is whoever's next to me and can solve that problem. The law of emotional proximity says if you don't follow up with your database and I need to sell my home tomorrow and Mario's been talking to me, but he didn't call me in the last 6 months and Jovita calls me today and I need to sell, I'm like, hey, Jovita, can you help me with this?
Mario's gonna be like,
And Mario calls me 6 months from now and he's like, right? And Mario calls me 6 months from now and he's like, hey, I just wanted to check in, how are things going? And they're like, oh my God, Mario, I couldn't find your number. I ended up selling my house with this woman named Jovita. That's the law of emotional proximity. And then we get mad and we're like, I can't believe they didn't call me. We didn't do our job.
Yeah, because a lot of people, they also lose their cell phones, so they lose all the communication, all the contact numbers, so
Right?
that's another reason why they can contact you.
Because all of a sudden we didn't do our job, right? As I have a client of mine calling me that I really need to follow up with.
She declined it.
I mean, you know, I'm in a class
oh, you were saying.
and I think they're gonna sell. Right, I'm like, what is that? There goes another one, hold up. Okay, so we get this, yes? Okay, so I tell you, it's database, leverage listings, this is part of our plan. Here's the thing. We're not gonna go over it now because I'm looking at the time, we won't have time today on this, so let me clear this out. The third item that goes over here is what lead generation lever are you going to choose to master and implement in your business? Here's the thing. In my opinion, Door knocking by itself is not a lead gen lever. Geographic farming, in which door knocking is an element of geographic farming, is. Circle prospecting, which is this, which is door knocking around a listing or a property, that is a strategy. Okay? Just door knocking and picking a different neighborhood every other week is not a strategy. We get the difference, right? Okay. Open houses can be a strategy, but not if all we do is put a sign in the yard and hope that people show up. Right? And open house strategy is when I teach open house classes and I say, this is how you pick an open house farm. And the strategy is we're going to do one open house a week with the intention of getting between 4 to 6 leads at every single open house. And if I do that 4 times a week, then I get 16 leads, right? 12 to 16 leads a month. And I have a follow-up campaign for them, then I should be able to convert one of those leads. And now I have a strategy. And at every open house, I set an appointment for a buyer by having a list of properties that are available by Supra for after the open house. And I identify who the sellers are around that open house. That is a strategy. That is an hour-long class. Right? But that is a strategy. It's not just I pick an open house and I go do it willy-nilly whenever I can. It's, I have a step-by-step, exactly like we just did this, right? A step-by-step for how we utilize that strategy. So geographic farming, expireds, notice of default, business to business, divorces, probates, right? All of those different things are potential lead generation levers. We do classes for each of them on what does that really look like. What I want you guys to think through is 2 things in the next 2 weeks is 1, I hope all y'all take a picture of this, right? And make sure that you have this written down as part of your GPS. When we do our business planning clinic on the 20th and 21st, we are gonna go in depth into what is your economic goals, right? Why? What are the steps that the actions you need to be doing on a week, on a monthly, on a weekly, on a daily basis in order to move towards your goal, okay? If you have something written down on a piece of paper, like a business plan, and you don't look at it every day, that's not a business plan. It's a piece of paper, right? It is what it is. I'm very clear on that. Mine is posted on my wall. I write them on the same thing is written, that's somebody else's plan, but I write them on the whiteboard, right? They're always there as I look at that every single day. If you don't know what your activities are every single day, it is not a plan. It's a piece of paper.
I need to do that, and even with gold, I stopped journaling, and as I was printing like the material, I'm like, what have I missed that I was doing then when we were in motion with John? And it's like, I stopped journaling and I stopped putting my list together.
See, it just changes things.
Yeah.
So next week, because now that we've gone through these 2 arms, next week I'll go through another lead generation arm, right? Do we have a request for what lead gen arm that is? Hi, man, I'm not sure if you got the database aspects of it. I missed your comments, my friend. So I don't know if you just meant this part over here of kind of building out our database. We want to make sure we're getting and updating our contact information, getting permission to market to them, putting them on a 36 touch campaign, which is our quarterly call, bi-weekly neighborhood nurture client events. And then when I said 4 items of value, that has to do with when we have a transaction, we are sending those just listed, just sold. We are omnipresent, we're marketing to our database as well. Right. So I hope that answers your question, my friend. Okay, so what type of lead generation, if any, do you guys want to focus on? If not, I will just randomly pick at random next week. Anybody thought about what they want their lead generation arm to be? I've done, let's see, which ones have I done? I've done, obviously we did a whole class on forbearances. That's recorded for you guys. So I don't know about going over that one just like so soon already. I've done open houses, but I don't know if everybody got a chance to see that one. I can always do open houses again. We can do online lead gen. We can do geographic farming. We can do whatever you guys want. Any requests. There's a lot, right? There's a whole list of them. And I can work through a strategy on every single one.
I mean, for me right now, since I'm working on getting that property lease, since like it's on hold, it's been a lot of cold lead generating. Sending text messages, I got an unlimited all data plan, so then that way I would be able to take care of that. And I'm also sharing from the CRMLS where it reads my listings
To who though? What is the
just
strategy?
to that pocket, Carson, to the pocket of Harbor City, to the pocket of Torrance.
So are you talking geofarming?
Yes,
Okay, so geofarming is
Yes.
one, right? We have geofarming.
so that would be just calls. Now that I know the postcards, I didn't know that we could just automatically.
Ooh, yeah, the
It's really good.
postcards are
I wanna
awesome.
like do that one.
I love the postcards. I think that's, I will say this. So we have an agent, her name is Melanie. And Melanie had a listing in a condo complex that was coming up.
Okay.
That condo had 2 other condos in that complex that had gone on the market previously and they had sat for a while.
Okay,
I helped her set up the postcard for hers. She did it to advertise an open house, right? She did it to advertise her open house. The person that bought that property came to the open house. That doesn't always happen, right? But not only that, she got opportunity from that conversation because all the neighbors came to that open house and realized that, hey, her property went under contract like this, whereas those other 2 units had sat in the market.
Right.
Right? And yet there was somebody in the building that was looking to buy a condo in the building.
Yeah.
But they didn't market to the neighbors. So all of a sudden there's opportunity there, right? It ends up the woman that she was working with is one of like the heads of the HOA there. And so it's opening up other doors and opportunity
oh, very good.
from a postcard.
Yeah.
It's huge, right? That's huge. It's the little things, right? That's the thing. All right, my friends. So with that, I know that was a lot today. We will choose so right now I have geographic farming. Is that a consensus? Geofarming?
Yeah.
Geofarming, all right. So the next week we're gonna talk about geographic farming.
Okay.
Cool. Because we are gonna do it a little different than what most people do.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, and those of you that are either watching the recording or are at home now, I will see you guys soon. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Monica.